What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go battling content in today's video. Not only are we going to be taking a look at the brand new Carbink in Pokemon Go, but if y'all haven't noticed, I got a nice spicy look on this overlay, and it looks absolutely amazing. I did all that work myself. I just got the assets and messed around and made it basically look similar to the way we had it before, but just much fresher. So let me know in the comments if you like the new look. I love it. We're going to take a look at these battles featuring Carbink. Now, we've got Golisopod and Carbink. I think they make a really interesting core together. Covers each other very well. And Mawile is back there as a means to draw out a Mud Boy, or it's going to draw out basically that thing that would beat Carbink. So let's take a look at these battles and just see how good Carbink is in the Great League Remix. Spoiler alert, though, what about 5-5 with this team? Now, we see a Guzzlord in the beginning here, and that's okay. They safe swap into Drapion. I'm not sure why they didn't stay in here, but I'm staying in for a moment just because I want to try and get a move off. But they go for the crunch, and I remember that Golisopod's really glassy. I should have just come straight in here with the Carbink or something to try and farm down, but essentially what I want to get is my Mawile or my Carbink. Honestly, either one is going to be on that Guzzlord. We're going to be good. But yeah, the Mawile is here as a safe swap to try and draw out the Mud Boys so that Golisopod, I mean, typically walls their movesets, so you would like to think that it can just handle it, farm it down. But you could really go with an Araquanid here. I think on the lead might be not a terrible idea. And then Mawile also could be subbed out for Credilli. A buddy of mine actually played this exact team up in the 2800 ELO range with Credilli over Mawile. Said it was absolutely slaying for him up there. So worth giving that a try as well. I tried it, didn't have any luck with it because every time I touch a team, it just becomes cursed to me. So I don't know, man. Probably why I went 5-5. But here's the thing with Carbink, y'all. The grand, you know, the big, you know, why is it good? Should you invest? Obviously, you're here because you saw the thumbnail and you saw the, should you invest in Carbink for the Great League? That was what probably drew you here. So the answer is yes. Short answer is yes. Also, look at that brand. Look at that transition. It's beautiful. Here's the thing with Carbink, right? Right now, it's the new hotness. Everybody's looking to counter it. They're not looking to play it because it's expensive, and they want to be able to beat all the Carbinks that are out there from all the try-hard people that built them. Now, the thing with my Carbink is it's missing like 3 or 4 power-ups still, and the IVs are not great. So it's not like I have a fully XL Carbink. Mine is just, it is what it is. But I just wanted to use it to get a feel for it and see how it is. It does also learn Tackle, I believe, and I feel like Tackle might be a better, more neutral move for it to have on the fast move. But your mileage may vary either way. I think Rock Throw allows it for a larger farm opportunity, just makes it feel a bit more like Bastion, where it's a very one-sided kind of linear Pokemon. But Golisopod is absolutely, I think, a really interesting core mate to it. Araquanid in the same vein. Really, though, Golisopod having Liquidation just makes it that much better. In my opinion, but Araquanid definitely does a better job of walling fighters and things that are a problem for Carbink, especially Mud Boys, except for Quagsire, because that thing's got Stone Edge and it's painful. My opponent's got Wild Charge and they're double, and then they come in with a Dugong, and I'm like, okay, I've got this in the bag. There's no way that I can lose this. They've got a Dugong, so I shield this likely Drill Run, and I'm like, all right, my Golisopod has the ability to completely wall this thing. I have Carbink with Rock Slide and Rock Throw, and the amount of damage that Carbink does is so minimal because, I mean, let's be honest, it's like Bastion. It has absolutely no offensive stat. It has all bulk. So, yes, this Drill Run doesn't do a ton of damage, but I'm going to be able to go for a farm down here, and I'm counting my opponent's moves, but I feel like I chicken out, and I don't think I'm going to make it, so I bank the move, come in with my Golisopod. My opponent comes in with their... They come in with the Galvantula. And I'm still going to be able to go and take this thing out, but they've got another Pokemon in the back. It's that freaking Dubwool, so I'm going to go for the X-Scissor, but because of the mechanics not being consistent, I'm not going to be able to get the X-Scissor. And they have a Body Slam to take me out. And I think all the losses that I had with this team were really close, so if that says anything, like, my opponents were, for the most part, like, trying to triple counter the Carbink. So the fact that I was able to make some of these games as close as I could, honestly, I think it speaks more for Carbink and maybe myself. I don't know. I feel like I'm washed lately, but I mean, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was at 2650 before Ultra League went away. Then we had the Single Type Cup and some Master League, and had the Retro last week, and I've struggled. I had back-to-back 0-5 sets the other day. And it was so demoralizing. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It just makes you feel so bad because you know you're better than that, but it still happens. And so I'm on my way up slowly. I'm climbing back into the 2500s as of this week. And I don't know, man. It just, I don't know what it is. I feel like either everyone's gotten so much better, or maybe I'm declining in my old age as I am getting old, right? So I don't know. We're just gonna kind of have to see how things shake out. I'm hoping that I can break out of this this rut that I've been having lately. Feels really bad. This person was absolutely playing the triple hard counter. The Carbink they had 3 times Pokemon that had 3 times. Where am I at? Jeez, language. The person that I'm playing against has 3 ground coverage Pokemon, and they have to shield this liquidation. Now, I'm gonna take a little bit and just talk because I've been ranting about things. I should probably talk about the gameplay, right? So I got my opponent's final shield here. That's going to allow me to take out their Gliscor with the liquidation here. I'm hoping this is KOs. If it doesn't KO, then I'm in trouble, but it does. And what now this allows me to do is it's going to allow me to just throw this Rock Slide into the Beedrill. And they had just thrown their move right before they had swapped out. So they were not going to be at a drill run. I just needed to make sure that I got there so we take out the opponent's Beedrill. And that's a good game. There were definitely a lot of teams that were like 3 hard absolute walls to Carbink. Now, here's the situation, right? I'm kind of core broken by this, right? Like Golisopod is supposed to do well, and my opponent is weak to Mawile in the lead. Like the Cresselia gets walled by Mawile. This is a CMP tie. They're going to throw the Grass Knot. Here I am thinking this is going to do a whole lot. It's a Grass Knot, right? Yeah, but it doesn't do great. And then they come in with the Mud Boy. And this is where it hurts, because I'm like, they safe swapped in Quagsire. There is a 5,000% chance that they have a second Mud Boy back there, which means I'm in trouble. So now I have to start shielding potentially Mud Bombs, which they throw Mud Bomb, and I feel so bad for shielding it. And I'm going for an X-Scissor. I'm trying to bait. I'm like, I want to get that shield back. I want to get rid of this Quagsire, though. And they do shield, so thankfully we got that going for us. But the Golisopod is just, it can't handle whole teams by itself. So I feel like as long as people are sitting here trying to triple hard counter the Carbink, you can't really expect to do well with it. So, going back once again to this whole idea of should you build a Carbink or not, I absolutely think that it will be a dominating force to have access to. But I do also think that we are going to have to, tread carefully here. My opponent, by the way, if you notice that, they waited a turn to make sure I didn't catch that move. Very nice play by them, by the way. I just want to make sure that I let y'all know. Farm down with the Carbink. I remember that Quagsire was low enough, and they come in with their own Carbink. So I'm like, okay, maybe we've got a chance here. Because that Quagsire was super, super low. And I'm hoping that maybe I get a Moonblast attack debuff here. Maybe. Nope. No attack drop here. So what I have to do is I have to try and correctly shield the Moonblast. And I'm thinking they may try to bait here, which they do. Rock Slide does not do very much damage. I just saw how much damage a Moonblast did. So what I have to do here is I have to shield and farm down. And I'm really hoping that I can. If I can't farm down before they get to another move, I am in trouble. So in hindsight, yeah, I mean, I was going to get there. I counted. There's 9 rock throws to the Rock Slide, and they were at 9 right there. So they have a shield, and I have 2 rock slides. Does the Rock Slide do enough damage to KO? No. I know that they were at 0 energy when they swapped out, so I may very well have been able to get in 2 more rock throws in between throwing those Rock Slides, but for all, at the end of the day, who knows? My opponent played very well, and they hard countered my Pokemon, or they hard countered my Carbink, so it is what it is. Right? It's a good game. All right, so next game they're going to have the Wigglytuff. I'm going to safe swap the Carbink here because my hard answer is indeed the Mawile. So my opponent comes in with an Alolan Sandslash, and I'm like, okay, this sucks, but it's flippable. Because I'm doing neutral damage across the board, my opponent does have to shield everything here. Otherwise, I can 2 shield and just farm them down. So, we're going to go back and forth. They're going to throw the Drill Run. I'm going to no shield because I've already, as far as I'm concerned, I have brought out the hardest counter to my Mawile. I would hope. So, I should be able to hopefully get this thing down into a range where I can farm it with Golisopod, and hopefully use that energy and put it to good use. Now, Rock Slide number 2 is shielded. My opponent will now be able to just simply farm me down, and that kind of sucks because that's a lot of energy that's just going to get thrown into my Golisopod. And as we said, Golisopod is not that tanky. Ice Punches and Drill Runs do add up very quickly, and they're able to get to 2 moves here, which really sucks. But again, I'm hoping that their hardest answer to Mawile has been drawn out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to possibly throw energy into the Pokemon when it comes in here. We're going to see. So the Wigglytuff comes in. I am going to do some chip damage with the Liquidation, pop into my Mawile, and see what we can do here. And my opponent immediately responds with a Quagsire. And now I'm sad because once again, I was like, man, if they had just come in with the dang Quagsire to the Carbink, we would have been good, because then I would have had... Nah, it doesn't matter, because the Alolan Sandslash absolutely walls... well, it doesn't wall, I guess. The Iron Heads do some damage, but I know I lose this game. My opponent hard counters me from back to front. There's not really much I can do here. So that's going to be a good game. The Charm Wigglytuff is a hard counter to Golisopod because of the normal typing. That's going to prevent me from being able to do any damage with my fast moves. So well played to my opponent, but not much I can do there. Golisopod comes in against a Chestnut. This is an interesting lead. I'm not really sure how I'd like to play it because they do have superpower, which does threaten, but they do have to debuff, so they can't stay in and play that out. So I probably should have just swapped straight into my Mawile here because it's a fairy type. It's doing super effective damage with those fairy winds. Might have pressured my opponent to want to swap here. Now I'm forced to shield a Frenzy Plant, which feels really bad. I was kind of baiting an Aerial Ace. In hindsight, not really a smart thing to do because there's no way that they just like, oh, this is definitely an Aerial Ace, I have to shield this. Like, no. I would be better off just running Aerial Ace in that case. So, my opponent takes the move here. I'm down to shield, which sucks, but they have put themselves down to a range where it doesn't matter how many Aqua Tails they throw. I can absolutely just farm them down here, so Carbink is going to do just that. That's what Carbink shines, is by getting a farm down and being able to launch energy into whatever comes in. And then be able to continue with all the HP that it's got left by throwing more moves. Ooh, excuse me, that came out of nowhere. Pardon me. So we're going to throw Moonblast from the Carbink into the Chestnut. They're going to shield it up, and they're going to just farm me so far down it hurts, man. Oh, so I'm going to come in with Mawile, and I'm going to try to eat the energy. My opponent has thrown immediately. That means that they're just throwing a Frenzy Plant. They didn't wait to throw, so I know that they're throwing this Frenzy Plant. Now I'm going to shield because it's probably superpower. And what's in the back? It's a Carbink! And you know what is a really hard answer to Carbink? Mawile. And that's actually why I picked Mawile over the Credilli. But the Credilli, honestly, in hindsight, probably would be better here because of all the Mud Boys. But Iron Head would hurt a lot. It's double super effective damage. But they CMP time me. So we're going to find out how much damage this Rock Throw or Rock Slide does. Not quite enough to KO the Mawile. I'm hoping that this Iron Head KOs, but it does not. So I have to come in and I have to try and farm down with my Golisopod. Can I get this farm down? Yes, we can get the farm down, but is the energy going to be enough? Yes, it is, because the opponent just decides to quit. So, good game, well played. Nidoqueen lead. So, have y'all ever just seen a lead, and you're like, there's no way I beat this team? I'm just screwed. That was me when I saw this Nidoqueen. I was just like, all right, there's absolutely no way. There's no way. There's a Scrafty in the back or something. They shielded my Liquidation, right? There's nothing I can do to this Nidoqueen that's impactful. So I say I swap Mawile, and I'm like, all right, I'm running ABB. I got to swap something in, right? So I'm going to go for the Iron Head and the CMP. It looks like, I think that was a CMP. And Mawile wins CMP. They don't shield the Iron Head. So, and they are throwing energy. I'm going to no shield this. Now, even my Carbink could farm down the Nidoqueen if it needed to. They have a Jellicent. Jellicent's painful because they also get to a Surf before I get to my Play Rough. This really sucks. I don't live the Surf. I come back in with Golisopod because my fast moves are super effective, even though my charge moves are all resisted. I'm going to force them to throw that Shadow Ball. I'm going to shield it because I know they're going to throw the Shadow Ball. There's no reason for them to bait here. And if they do, then that just feels bad, man. But I'm going to go for my Liquidations. I want to get a defense drop. I'm really hoping that they do have Scrafty in the back, and I can somehow get a shield, farm down, get the Moonblast off, you know, just something, right? So, I think the Xehr's is enough. It is enough, thankfully. Opponent comes up with Nidoqueen, and then they quickly swap into Dragonair. And I've never been happier to see a Shadow Dragonair in my whole life. I double resist the damage that they're going to put out from these Dragon Breaths, and even Aqua Tails are not going to be enough to take out this Carbink with how bulky it is. So even though we're about 4 or 5 power-ups short of being 1500, as you can see, it's only 1455. That's how high I could get it with the rare candies and rare XLs that I had. That's all I did. I just yeah, I didn't have enough. So Toxicroak in the next game, we're looking good here. This is a pretty decent answer to the Toxicroak, considering it's got fighting and ground as its main damage. Sludge Bomb would suck, but I go ahead and I try to CMP, and they catch on a Hisuian Electrode. And sometimes I'm also just really impressed by the swaps that my opponents make. And the stupid plays that I make, like throwing a resisted Iron Head into an electric type. Yeah, I should have gone for the play rough here for sure. Would have actually done enough damage to take them out. They may have shielded it even. But now, because they have all this energy, they're just going to go for Wild Charges. And this is problematic. Wild Charge does not KO, but I'm not able to take advantage of it because I don't have enough HP to live one more Thunder Shock. So here I am in the depths of despair against this Hisuian Electrode, who has just got energy up the wazoo. And so I'm able to Shadow Claw down to get rid of it, thankfully. So I'm hoping that that may be the only other answer that they have to Carbink. They got Toxicroak in the front. They've got Hisuian Electrode in the back. Are they really going to have another one? You bet you they are. This is another one of those triple counter teams to Carbink. So we're going to see what that Carbink counter is in the back. I don't really have anything else that I can do against this. I'm going to throw a Resisted X Scissor. I'm just hoping I get a shield at this point. Maybe they want to try and shield. They do shield. Maybe they want to throw energy. I try to catch the Mud Bomb here. Or Sludge Bomb. I'm catching a Sludge Bomb. My opponent goes for Mud Bomb because they're very smart. They know that it will KO. There's Dunsparce in the back. So, once again, triple hard counter to Carbink. I'm going to see if I can make this happen. No, I'm not going to be able to make this happen because they're going to go for 2 drill runs to take me out here. But I am going to try and see how much damage this Moonblast does. But they're not even going to let me get there. I know the Moonblast wasn't going to come close to KOing, but I just wanted to see how much it did. But either way, yeah, because they've got the rollout and I've got Shadow Claws, I'm not doing any damage. So well played to my opponent. I'm just going to give up and let them have it. There's a Steelix on the lead. Remember that Nidoqueen we saw a couple games ago? There's a Steelix, and that strikes the same amount of fear into my heart because there's I could do damage to it with Golisopod, but when they swap in the Toxicroak, and I'm like, dude, there's nothing I can swap into this. I can try and swap into Mawile. I tried to catch a Sludge Bomb, didn't work out. Now I have so much energy, they're just going to launch Mud Bombs into my face. So, in hindsight, I should have probably just swapped straight into Mawile and tried to outpace them or something. I don't know. I don't know how that matchup goes, to be honest. I haven't played much of Mawile in, Great League formats, just on occasion. But my opponent's got so much energy, they're going to launch Sludge Bombs, and I mean, I don't know, man. I got to try and farm down. I think this is just a Mud Bomb, so I'm going to let it go. And it's a Mud Bomb, so thankfully we resist that damage. I'm going to farm down here, have a ton of energy to throw into the Steelix that I literally cannot do anything to because they come in with a Grass Poison type. We haven't seen what it is yet, but it's a freaking Shadow Gloom, dude. Like, there are just some teams where I am just not meant to be able to do anything to, and it's games like this that make me believe that there is some janky algorithm out to get me sometimes. I know it's a load of crap, and if any of you believe in it, you need to go educate yourselves. You're probably coming from the Poke AK section of the YouTubes, and y'all need to come back to reality, because I promise you that doesn't exist. But I should have come up with Mawile here in hindsight. I just really appreciated the fact that I could just farm this whole thing down. But the energy's not going to go very far into the Quagsire, regardless. Yeah, there's just... but that's basically how my luck has been for like the last 3 weeks to almost a month now, is just anytime I make any sort of like positive traction, I get sucked back down by these people running Shadow Gloom and Shadow Steelix. And I just, ooh, it's so painful. It's such a painful experience to watch your 4-1s and 5-0s. I haven't had a 5-0 in over a month, dude. It's just to watch your 3-2s and 4-1s go to absolute shambles by 2-0-5s that happen and pull you back into the 2300s. And that's just because that's where I landed. I know that there are some of you out there that are much lower, and that's okay, though. We're all where we are, and you'll get higher. I promise you, even though it may not seem like it right now, but that's just my experience, right? So they have a Charizard in the back, and I'm like, oh, baby. I am not sure how I'm going to pull this one off. So I'm going to bait, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a shield. And that's all I got, right? So now I have to shield this, right? No, I let it go. I should... Here's my thought process by letting this go. They have 1 shield left. I easily get to 2 Iron Heads here before they're going to be able to get to 2, Dragon Claws and a Blast Burn. I know they're going to bait. I could have no shielded that and absolutely flexed on them, but instead I'm gonna respect all the moves. And I'm just going to get to 2 Iron Heads, and if I can get there, great. If I can't get there, then I wasn't meant to win. I'm going to go for the first Iron Head and see if it's enough to take out this Charizard. If I had only just saved my freaking Carbink for this Charizard, I wouldn't have had to deal with all this bullcrap. But you know what? Here we are, without a Carbink. And Mawile still takes it, so good game, well played. Anyway, awesome showcase. Not really a showcase. This was like literally like some of the worst games that I've played with Carbink. Every time I bring Carbink into a team, it just gets hard countered, so I've not tried to play it. Here I am at 2493. I'm since then gone up by about 80 elos, so well played to all my opponents. Carbink is great, just not right now, so take your time building it. You're not missing out on anything, trust me. Thank you all so much for watching. We're going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.